All right, wasn't actually planning on recording today, but I might as well get something up, right? So post cardio, just did 30 minutes inclined, 15 degrees, 3 miles an hour. I do hang on if my heart rate gets above 145. You want to keep it 135, 130 to 145 range. Don't really want to maintain a high heart rate while for a long period of time while you do cardio. But got that done. I also did a little bit extra, 30 minutes on top of that of flat, just walking, getting some steps in. You know, steps is the undefeated fat burner. It's the kind of hidden gem, right? So we're gonna do a little bit of pose down. I've been chilling for a little bit, so not sweaty anymore. Also walking, and also it's like -30 out. That's a thing. Freaking freezing. Let's see, make sure I'm the focus here. Whew. I don't know if you can see that, but oh, I mean, that looks pretty good from what I'm seeing, but obviously you're at a different angle. Lighting is whatever. But hey, I had a nice arm day yesterday. Gosh, I wish I filmed it. My triceps are sore as shit. But yeah, stay anabolic, baby. Let's explain what I'm doing here. Let's get going. All right, so I'm gonna try to keep this short and sweet. It'll definitely be a couple minutes, but you know, I wrote down for me personally what I'm going to do. It might be reversed when I might have to invert this, but that's totally fine. I am going based off of, so I do research, right? I'm looking how to do a lean mass kind of thing here, but let's start off, a couple videos ago, I said I might cut again. I do want to be leaner. I am very content with how lean I am though. I want to just put overall mass and size on. So from here, I'm going to do lean mass blueprint. Beardo's lean mass blueprint is what I put on the top. I want to stay this lean with full knowledge that I'm going to be a little watery and whatnot, you know, that comes with a surplus. I'm going to explain everything though, what I'm doing here. For now, you know, this is January. I think February is when we'll actually start the surplus. For now, I'm just eating carbs and eating when I'm hungry, hitting my protein and carb goal, calorie goal. You know, I'd rather be over than under, I guess, but I'm just kind of eating maintenance. So lean mass blueprint. This is I found this. There's a video. Highly recommend you watch Eric Janicki and just Coach Greg, I guess in general. I fucking love those guys, and I would totally, dude. I want to be sponsored by Harder Than Last Time, right? They got some sick ass supplements that I would kill to try. Turk, whatever, bro. But anyway, great guys right there. But Eric Janicki has a lean mass blueprint that I'm kind of going off of, and kind of how I got some numbers for me here. So first of all, I calculated my BMR. So he explains an introduction, everything you'll learn and all of this, understanding nutrition. So it's weird how you think you know everything and then you just learn more and more. It's not like I didn't know this stuff, but now I actually need to really focus on. So something that he brought to my attention is food quality. So actually eating quality foods. I'm looking at some fruit right now. I'm expanding my knowledge, or not my knowledge, but kind of my taste. You know, I'm not a huge fan of like vegetables and fruit, but like kind of expanding that, you know, my taste, right? Fucking hell, my taste. Um, so as long as I get my calories met, I gotta stop saying calories met plus food quality. That's gonna be my foundation here. Within this, I want to focus on whole foods, minimally processed, high fiber, high micronutrient. So all that's really important. So I calculated my BMR, so basal metabolic rate. That is the calories you need to eat just to stay the same when you're not moving a damn foot. You sit still and you don't move a fucking muscle. That's just for your body to function, right? Blinking and fidgeting and your organs moving, your heartbeat. It takes energy, right? So basal metabolic rate. He had a formula here. What is it? Mifflin's equation or something like that. 1844 for me. So I calculated that out roughly. This is, you know, just an estimate. So adding in activity level. So there's like, you know, you can be a certain amount of activity level. As long as you're accurate per week, I think that's more important. So I established, you know, so I do a cardio every day, 30 minutes. So that is definitely at least being active every day. I'm trying to hit 10,000 steps a day. So it's not like I'm super active. You know, I think having a physical job and working out and doing cardio, that is pretty physically active and demanding. But I did moderately active and then very active. So that'll be between 2,800 and 2,858 calories and 3,180 calories. So that's where I'm going to be between for my maintenance, depending on how active I am each day and each week. So I have a median of 3,019 calories per day. If I do my cardio, do my workouts, do my school and whatnot, and that's how much I need to eat just to function and stay the same. So I'm going to do a surplus. And when I say a surplus, I might call this a bulk, I might call this a massing phase, I might call it whatever. I usually think about like, whoa, huge surplus, 3,000 calorie surplus. You know, that seems to make sense, but it's just going to be adding body fat. So this is a lean mass blueprint here, huh? So this is 250 to 500 calorie surplus is the most I will be doing. And I'm starting with 250 calorie surplus. My calorie surplus will be 3,275 calories per day about. So now let's get to the macros for that. You want to 25 to 30% of your calories to be protein, 45 to 55% of your calories to be carbs, and then 20 to 25% to be fat. Now, it is important to mention that protein and fats, you need those to live. You don't need carbs to live, but that doesn't mean carbs aren't important. Carbs are, in my eyes, more important than fat. So yeah, you need fat to keep your hormones in balance and a lot of other important stuff. But all fat is going to do is slow down digestion and make you feel more bloated and all that. So that's not what we want when we're locked in and trying to build muscle here. So I have my macros for 3,275 calories per day. I got 50% carbs, 25% fats, and 25% protein. That is 205 grams of protein, 91 grams of fat, and 409 carbs. That is a lot of carbs. But I believe that I don't think that'll be too hard because, you know, I think about my past and I definitely had days where I ate way too much fat and I didn't even know it. So fat is in everything and it's in cooking oil and it's within. So focusing on getting more carbs throughout the day. Fiber also is important. That goes into carbs a little bit too if you want to break that down. But he has some examples here. This is super. If you want to look up how to build muscle without getting obese, this is the way to do it. And also, if anyone out there is already fat, he says 12 to 15% body fat to do this or less. I technically agree because he lists a bunch of negative effects if you're like 20% body fat and you try to do a lean, you know, massing phase. You're already fat, so you're not lean. So I don't know what you're talking about. So training, that's where I get a little bit here. Training will stay pretty much the same, except I need to focus on a couple key things here. So training volume, more is not better, as he says, better is better. 2 to 6 sets per muscle group per session to failure. So training to failure and intensity is going to be the most important, but not chasing the pump and doing junk volume is also something that I need to really focus on, especially doing a 3-day split. I'm going to keep my PPL, modified PPL, because I want to be able to start with shoulders one day, and then I also get to start with chest and go straight to tries another day. So it was brought to my attention that if my back is good and everything else needs work, I just have a good back and nothing else really sucks. It's just that my back is a little better. And it's not even my back. My back ain't even like, whoa, way better. It's just, it's a good shape. I could definitely use some thickness, so I might be doing more rows in my head. But also, you know, I do want to be wide as a brick shit house, right? So that is important. So training extremely hard and intense, not too much junk volume. We want to recover. Recovery is super important here, because you can have the best workouts and super damaging to your muscles. You can do that all day, all week, all year, but if you don't recover, you're not growing. Okay, growth is growth. So I am focusing shoulders, triceps, and biceps, and chest mainly. So that does sound like a lot, but I do want bigger shoulders. That's probably the first one. Bigger chest is probably second. Well, it's probably tied with triceps. The reason it's not biceps, triceps is two-thirds of your arm. So if you want bigger arms, bigger triceps will really bring that look. But biceps, you know, are very important too. That's still a whole third, especially when your insertions like mine are not necessarily perfect. They're kind of cooked. But that's fine. That's fine. So that's why they're at the end. Anything after 60 to 75 minutes of training, what did he say? Where is that? Something about like the improvement in being able to focus and stay locked in your actual output. You just become really lazy, whether you think you are or not, and it is a good time to call it. This is a whole thing. There's a whole bunch of ways to do this with gear and all that shit too, but I mean, that's not for me, so maybe one day. No, I'm sorry, Mom. No, I'm just kidding. But that's all I got for now. 10 minutes, a holy yap session, but I highly recommend looking up Eric Janicki's Lean Mass Blueprint. Super helpful for me. As long as I can follow this to a T, take my supplements. I could go over that. I already done that before. If anyone has any questions, I guess. But all right, let's see how much of this we can do. Let's try to make this quicker, but we got milk. We're gonna blend this up. See how much this banana weighs. See if I can remember too. Oh, 100 grams of banana. And look at this. Feeling like Rich Piana, aren't I? This is all rice right here, basically. Chocolate rice, 30 grams of protein, 12 grams of sugar though. Hey, carbs are carbs, am I saying? You know what I'm saying? All right, 36, 70. That's a little less, but that's fine. We'll see. This is the first time doing this, so let's see how this tastes, right? So just a little less than 2 cups. That'll be soggy in 2 seconds. You know, I love this shit, but I need peanut butter, but it does add flavor, calories, but we'll see how it is without the peanut butter this time. If you ever shop at Costco, Kirkland, the serving size is 1 scoop, which is 25 grams of protein. But if you do 2, 50, bro. That's a lot of protein, baby. And there's 70 servings, so if you do, 71 scoop servings, but you know, whatever. All right, let's blend this shit up. I would put ice, but. And there you have it, laddie. That's how you make a proper fucking protein shake, laddie. And about like a shite.
I do think daily cardio is like the final evolution of how you should be doing it. But even if you just do that a couple times a week, 3, 4 times, you're gonna notice the benefits for sure. All I'm trying to say there.
And so if Coach Kyle calls me a PDF file